Zelda 2 Cross Defended, the infamous battle of the Great Temple!
Welcome to a special and brand new episode of The Completionist. And today, guys, we're tackling the second in the Legend of Zelda collection pack. And ironically enough, it's the second game in the series, and it's actually the most hated. So let's go ahead and figure out why everyone dislikes this game. Zelda 2, the black sheep of the entire Zelda series. This being the second in the franchise, generally speaking, games tend to go up. However, one of the most hated sequels of all time is, in fact, Zelda 2.
But Beardman, why is Zelda 2 one of the only few direct sequels in the Zelda timeline? This game is just so hard. It sucks. I hate this game.
Alright, I get the point, Greg. Yes, this game is drastically different, and yes, it is very tough. Let's get right to it.
I hate it!
So if you missed out on the dramatic story of the first Legend of Zelda game, click this thumbnail right here to check out my Zelda 1 review. If not, some of the storyline might not make sense.
Well, that's the thing with the NES, you don't get that much story. But if you really want to care about our hero, you might want to play some Zelda 1.
The sequel assumes you've played the first one, as most sequels should, but in case you haven't played it...
Scrolling text, let us know the story!
So immediately we are informed that Zelda, the Princess of Hyrule, has fallen under a mysterious spell that has put her into a deep sleep. Impa, who is her maiden, informs Link of this event. In order for Link to wake Zelda, he must collect 6 crystals that will unlock the Great Palace, which contain the Triforce of Courage. If Link gets the Triforce, it will awaken the princess. The short of it is, conquer the 6 palaces, and then tackle the Great Palace.
The Fate of Hyrule. Welcome to Zelda 2!
What's more interesting is that the lore goes on to say that Ganon is gone, but his minions are the ones hunting Link down. If Link dies, they will spill his blood over the ashes, and it will bring back the Dark Lord Ganon. I am really excited to complete this game. There's been very few Zelda games that have been a direct sequel to a game. With that said, I am very excited for the Link to the Past sequel on the 3DS, A Link Between Two Worlds.
Wait, rewind that part. Haven't you played all of the Zelda games?
I've played most Zelda games and completed them, but this is one I never got around to completing.
What?
Yes, I am the completionist, and I tried to complete every single game I have on the show. But when it comes to the Zelda franchise, there are some Zelda games I just haven't gotten around to, and I'm working... a letter, right now. This is Blue's Clues. Just answer letters on the show. Dear Dragon Rider Khalil, completionist guy, bearded dude, you are hereby summoned to Internet Court to defend Zelda 2. Crap. Objection!
Defend it! Alrighty, folks, seeing as we're already in the thick of this review, we're gonna expedite things. No witnesses! You have to prove your cases on your own. Gerard, you're just gonna do the review like you regularly would. And if you find anything wrong, Mr. Internet, if you find anything wrong, Mr. Internet, you can chime in at any time and make him look like a fool.
Oh, let's be real, Your Honor. This is gonna be a cakewalk.
Now, at the end of our review, you folks at home are going to decide, should we take the completionist's rating, or should we go with the internet? And, take some of that cake you were talking about.
I don't have any cake.
Right off the bat, Zelda 2's visual style is very different from the first one. The first Zelda stuck exclusively to the top-down perspective. However, in Zelda 2, the minute we press start, we are greeted with a brand new 2D side-scrolling screen.
This is already a drastic change, and already it feels uncomfortable. Change is hard enough as it is. The first game was virtually perfect in its visual representation, yet this looks like some weird Super Mario Bros. Clone.
Already diving in, are we? I barely even started.
Like I said, piece of cake.
Alright, so we've got this 2D style. Pretty interesting thus far. The texture and background designs do remind me of something from Super Mario Bros., but I can deal with it. The camera follows me wherever I go, which is kind of nice, and if I head out of here and oh, okay, it's a world map. Wait, Zelda 2 is an RPG?
Another visual approach gone wrong. This is not what we're used to. In Zelda 1, the gameplay is one solid note. We're not subjected to two different gameplay and visual styles.
Visuals don't necessarily make or break a game, you know. It's a combination of everything.
There's only 9 real audio tracks in this game.
The first game had maybe no more than 2 tracks.
Well, at least that music was iconic.
Hold it! You cannot tell me you don't like the awesome temple music remix in the Smash Bros. Series. You cannot tell me that.
That's true, I'll give you that. But look at that weird screen tearing, and the attack animations of enemies make this game's difficulty skyrocket. It's very hard to telegraph their upcoming moves. And last but not least, I am error? Really?
Dude, it's the NES. You want to judge an old game because of the hardware? And if you're going to play the I am error card, then consider this theory. The master of the water town of Saria is named Bagu. Bagu is how the word bug would be rendered in Romanized Japanese. It's possible that error and Bagu actually were intentionally placed. If anything, it shows that the public wants to try and defend Zelda 2 as well.
Yeah, well, you're a nerd.
Alright, ladies, calm down, calm down. Let's see how you both do in the gameplay section.
The biggest and most notable differences when discussing Zelda 1 and 2 are the gameplay and core mechanics. As previously pointed out by the internet, gameplay is cut into 2 modes, the actual 2D side-scroller and the overworld hub. Traveling in the open world of Hyrule is actually pretty cool. It feels like you're traveling around in a bigger world than you actually are.
Alright, I give you that traveling around in the open world seems cool, but this element gets old really quick. When you are on the open world battlefield, you are attacked by enemies. When you are attacked, you then go into a 2D battle zone. The battle mechanics are as follows. You run around and stab things.
Yeah, that seems pretty straightforward. What's the problem with this?
Well, for one, it is drastically different than Zelda 1. 2, look at the numbers when an enemy is defeated. When you kill an enemy, a number is displayed kind of like a score. If you look in the top right corner, the number you just saw pops up and adds to the bar. It's an experience bar, essentially, which is actually pretty cool. Hitting your goal will let you level up in 3 categories: damage, magic, and health. But the long grind to get to the top is a pain in the ass. Keep in mind, everything caps at level 8, and anything after that gets converted into lives. Ooh, what's that? Oh yes, you have lives in this game. Yet another change.
One thing that stays true to Zelda are collectibles achieved by mini side quests in towns and secret areas in the overworlds. You can get 4 health and magic containers to extend your meters, and while there are items to collect, you don't really get to swap them out and use them. You just add them and they automatically work. You can also get spells that help you on your quest. Shield reduces the damage you receive, Jump makes you jump higher, Life restores your health, Fairy turns you into a fairy, Fire lets you shoot fire from your sword, and Spell literally is a spell that supposedly does a spell. Spells. Oh, I almost forgot. The Ultimate Thunder spell, which wipes out the entire screen. Each spell requires its own amount of magic points. You can also unlock skills. These skills will help you in battle. There's the upward slash and the downward slash. These skills are actually pretty well hidden. Once you've unlocked them, all you have to do is press up or down on the D-pad while you're in the air, and boom, you've got more attacks. This is fantastic for power leveling.
Your Honor, let me step in for a moment and explain further in depth as to why this game is horrid. It's difficult, very tough. Most gamers rage at how hard it is because of its enemies and how they're impossibly created and designed in conjunction with the palace layouts. For instance, enemies spawn out of nowhere, sometimes in random spots. Enemies are hard to judge. Oh, and not to mention, upon death, you start right back at Zelda's chamber. So let's just say you trekked all the way to a temple. Roll with me, stick with me, I'm on fire.
Internet?
Let's just say you get all the way up through to a boss. You die 3 times because you're not very good at this game and you get game over. What's that? Yup, back to the very beginning.
You've made your point.
No further questions.
Speaking of enemies, their difficulty is based on their color coordination. Bright orange enemies means they're usually easy to kill. Baby blue is like a medium level enemy. Dark blue is a bit more difficult. And then you've got your red, which is pretty hard. After that, there's dark blood red, which is the hardest enemy. These guys will Shrek you up. Get used to dying a lot and figuring out how to counter your enemies. But really, it's not that bad. The key to beating this game is patience and taking your time.
Look, I'm just throwing it out there. Miyamoto himself said this was the worst game he ever had a hand in creating.
Speaking of boss fights, how about those, right? Actually, I find the boss fights only get easier as you master the game. Starting out, they're quite hard, but as you learn how to play, some boss fights are very easy.
Can I just add one more thing, Your Honor? This game sucks.
No cake sucks.
So you've collected all the items, spells, you've leveled up to your max level as you can, and you've tackled the 6 temples. It's time to make our way through the Valley of Death. In my opinion, the Valley of Death is quite possibly the hardest part in this game.
Let the court know that the defense just admitted to this game being more difficult than he expected.
What? No, that's not what I said. I said that this part of the game is the hardest part. A lot of new enemies never before encountered, a long trek from the beginning of the area to the top, and you only have 3 lives.
And it'll all be for nothing once you die and get game over inside the Great Palace, starting you back at Zelda's chambers.
Actually, that's not true. Miyamoto finally shed some mercy on us. He made it so that if you die inside of the Great Palace and you hit continue, you start over at the beginning of the temple. Holy crap, that's amazing. It's like being given a glass of water at the end of a safari.
I don't get it.
Let me have that one, please.
Fair enough.
The palace itself isn't that bad, and that final boss fight isn't bad either if you collected everything and trained up. Cast thunder, jump, shield yourself, and aim for the face as much as you can. After the murdering of the flying lion face, it's time to grab the Triforce. Except for the fact that as you grab it, you must battle your doppelganger. Which you can win with this glitch.
Glitches with Old Man Snitches.
You know, back when Diablo first invaded Tristram, he too had to face a shadow version of himself, and wow, that's not very... This is the final boss? That's just a little... Well, this was pointless.
Overall, I have to say, yes, I am a little bit disappointed with this being a follow-up game to Zelda 1. However, as its own game, it's actually fresh and fun. Zelda fans be warned, this game is not for the easily upset. I did die about 20 times, but at the end of the day, I can only be mad at myself for rushing. Patience is a virtue.
So, there's a struggle to complete this game, but there's no completion bonus? You getting a bit soft, completionist? Getting a little casual?
The completionist bonus is non-existent. Beating the game lets you start New Game Plus, but it makes no sense as nothing in the game has changed except for the fact that your levels carry over. All in all, not really worth it.
Well, we've heard it all. Mr. Completionist, your final points, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. When looked at as a standalone title, Zelda 2 is a great game. It's fun, it's difficult, and it's different. Yet when you look at the entire grand scale that is the Legend of Zelda franchise, I admit it does lack a little bit. But at the end of the day, is it okay just to judge one game in the entire universe of one franchise? I mean, look, there are way worse Nintendo games out there, and Zelda 2 is just different. With that in mind, guys, this game gets my completionist rating of finish it or play it. In this case, fillet it.
Fillet of fish!
Well put, well put. Now, Mr. I don't want to give the judge a piece of cake, but he's got a really nice Italian suit on. Your final points.
Your Honor, Zelda 2 is a complete waste of time. It's too difficult, it's extremely buggy, and it doesn't hold up. And probably its biggest flaw is that it doesn't follow its predecessor. Zelda 2 is just a nasty soil mark on the fine Italian suit that is the Zelda saga. You bumbling, Sears suit-wearing fool. Oh, how I hate you. You make me sick. I'm looking at you right now and I want all of your hair to fall off your body so that you just look like an olive-skinned mess of a man.
That's really uncalled for, Mr. Mustachio. Is that really a mustache? I don't think so. Let's compare it to my beard. You want to rumble? Let's do this.
My mustache is magnificent. I'm gonna toy with you for a little bit.
I bet you don't even play games, let alone complete them. Get on my level. Get on my level.
I don't need to complete them. I'm the internet. I do whatever I want.
I bet
I
you
take
take
your
in your
games
mom's basement
and I will.
Order in my courtroom!
Well, what do you guys think? Do you think Zelda 2 should be wiped from history because it's such an awful stain on the Zelda series? Or do you think it deserves a completionist rating? Tell us below. And as per usual, let's let these two duke it out!
Be next week for Christmas.
Time part.
No one gets you
Shove
anything.
your head
When Christmas
right
comes
up
out,
there so I can
Santa
feel your
don't
fuzzy
do
weird
anything
up
for you, you
there.
troll.
And then I
Hey,
will
troll.
snap the
Hey,
What?
Hey, I have enough. Could I get the cake now? Keep thinking about the cake.
Okay, look, there's no cake. There is no cake. It's a saint. It's a figure of
Would
speech.
you
It's a
say-
piece of cake.
would you
A
say-
cakewalk. I mean, it's.
Would you say that the cake is a lie?
I would say that. I would. What's wrong with you? He's seizing. Oh my God, he's seizing.